Shalom, coming to the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the bishop elders at Great Millstone who wrote well, and salutes unto the Archim that continue to push the word in truth and in sincerity. Now, along the way, there's been households and people and lines within Israel that have greatly erred in sin and gone against the house of the Lord, which is the house of David. But we know according to the prophecies that all Israel will be saved. Okay, now here's an example of this in the scripture. In 2 Samuel chapter 9, we know the story between David and Saul, the house of Saul and the house of David. Okay, but even the house of Saul will be in their right minds again, which ultimately will happen in the kingdom, because at the end of the day, the line is of Israelites and all Israel must be saved. But here we have a good example of how Saul and his line will continually be and eventually under the house of David. Okay, and this is 2 Samuel 9. And let me start from the top. And David said, "Is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul, that I may shew him kindness for Jonathan's sake?" And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. And when they had called him unto David, the king said unto him, "Art thou Ziba?" And he said, "Thy servant is he." And the king said, "Is there not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may shew him kindness show the kindness of the Most High unto him?" And Ziba said unto the king, "Jonathan hath yet a son, which is lame on his feet." And the king said unto him, "Where is he?" And Ziba said unto the king, "Behold, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, in Lodabar." Then King David sent and fetched him out of the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, from Lodabar. Now when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and in reverence David and said, Mephibosheth. He answered, "Behold thy servant." And David said unto him, "Fear not, I will surely shew thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually." Okay, so Saul makes it, even though you had the house of Saul and the house of David, and we know the story between what went down between the two houses. How then, as Israelites, would Saul's line be saved? Well, the Lord used David to say this, man, that and thou I'll restore all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually, which represents that not only was he good with David at that particular point, but continually means forever, man. In the reincarnations, eventually there'll be one house and there'll be one king, okay, which will be King David. And even those who went against him of the house of Saul, will be brought back, man. Okay. Let me get another preset. He was crazy. Romans 11:26, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob, for this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. Alright, so as David forgave the house of Saul, he forgave Jonathan, he forgave Mishboth. I can't even remember the name. It's kind of a hard one. Bear with me. Mophib. Oh, there we go. PH is F. F sound. See, phonetics, man. Mephibosheth. 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 Right, there you have it. So, through the grandson of Saul, Mephibosheth, his salvation or being brought back. Okay, despite the two houses going against each other. You know. Now let me get one more precept. They shall seek David. Okay. Here's the prophecy in the book of Hosea, which is Hawashai, which means salvation. 3 and 5, it says, afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord Yahweh their power, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Okay, so in the latter days, remember the word, what did David say? And thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. That's speaking of the latter days. Okay, you know, through the reincarnations, even the house of Saul will be under the house of David, man. Okay, seeking after David, so no Israelite shall be lost. Okay, and this is going to be finalized in completion in the kingdom. Okay, all the Israelites that didn't make it on this side will be born back, man. Okay, and will be raised up to reverence David the king. Okay, which is the head of the church. Also, the head apostle. You know, Apostle Peter. Okay, which will be under the King Yahushua. That's why one of the Yahushua's titles is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Not only is all of Israel going to be kings and princesses, but you've got the principal King David. But the King of David is Yahushua, and the King of Yahushua is the Most High. Okay, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days, man. So along the way, you've had hiccups, you've had buck-ups, you've had cock-ups and fuck-ups. But at the end of the day, man, all Israel shall be saved. Okay, and even those who go against the truth right now, which constitute as the house of Saul, going against the house of David through Mephibosheth, colloquially speaking, will be brought back into the house of David, which is the house of truth. Alright, and it's with that I'm out. Shalom.